Luma Island might end up being my top game of 2024. Luma Island is the perfect blend of adventure RPG mixed with farming sim. You're able to play solo or with up to 4 friends, and at the beginning of the game, you're able to pick from 7 unique professions, each with its own progression path. You'll upgrade your tools, gather rare materials, and collaborate with your teammates to become masters of your crafts. But in addition to that, you'll also be traversing the island, solving quests, helping the locals, and exploring the dangerous spider caves, ancient temples, and all of the puzzles and treasures that await. In addition to all of that, you also get to turn your humble old caravan into a majestic manor, upgrading your house and the farm around it. I played through the entire demo over on Steam. I will have that link down in the description below, so feel free to go check that out for yourself. And now I'm going to be sharing with all of you my first 5 days in Luma Island. So I arrived to Luma Island, this is day 1, and it definitely was not clear what I was supposed to be doing. Okay, obviously kidding. Luma Island has these arrows pointing to all of the different tools and everything that you discover along the way. So first and foremost, we got the copper axe. And with that axe, I proceeded to chop down a bush. I chopped down a farm tree. And once I did that, the storage bin next to my camper van opened up and I was provided with a sawmill drawing. I then successfully placed down my first blueprint, which was the sawmill, and I have to collect 5 farm wood to build it. So because I only had 1 wood from chopping the first tree, I then had to go around and chop several more trees to collect enough wood to build the sawmill. As I was chopping down these trees and bushes, I did notice that I was collecting more than just wood, including things like hay, twigs, and even nature spirits. So already collecting a bunch of different materials, and hopefully we will discover what we need those for later. After gathering enough wood and successfully building the sawmill, the next chest did unlock, which is going to provide me with a pickaxe. And I also learned that the sawmill is going to turn our wood into wooden planks. After receiving the copper pickaxe, we then learned about smashing the boulders. This is how we're going to collect stone, we're going to collect copper, and several other different materials down the line. After smashing my first rock, I also decided to smash a few more, collect some copper, but it unlocked the storage chest, which provided me with the kiln drawing. I collected that, placed it right next to my sawmill, and then I started focusing on gathering the materials that I would need to build the kiln. This one was going to be a little bit more challenging because I had to take the raw materials and convert them into something else. So I gathered my rocks, and after attempting to place normal wood into the kiln several times, I did finally realize that I needed to turn them into planks first. After crafting the kiln, I received the ore smelter drawing. And I think at this point, you're probably starting to sense a theme where you craft one thing, you unlock the blueprint for something else, then you use the previous machine to craft what you need to build the next thing. In order to craft the ore smelter, I needed charcoal and farmstone blocks. I was able to quickly make all of the charcoal that I needed, but I did have to go around and gather more stone in order to craft enough of the stone blocks. And after I was finished crafting that, I did officially complete the first quest. And because I completed that quest, I did receive several different spirits, water spirit, nature spirits, earth spirits, rock spirits, and lost spirits, none of which I know what to do with. Upon completing that first story quest, it did unlock some more toolboxes. I received a copper hoe, a watering can, a fishing rod, and a bug net, and I got tasked with my next quest, which was to visit the town hall. I did get a little bit sidetracked and spent some time on the beach collecting seaweed, attempting to fish, but I didn't have any fish bait yet, and just kind of exploring the area a little bit before I ventured off into the main town. After I finished exploring, I did finally make my way over to town, and the first thing I saw was this anvil where you can come to upgrade your tools. It does seem like you need a lot of materials and money that I do not have to upgrade your tools, so I won't be doing any of that right now, but it is nice to know that it's here for the future. I also visited this little blue kiosk, which turned out to be the drawing shop, and this is just a vendor that sells different blueprints that you can buy. Some of them are more functional, and then some of them are just for decoration, but I love this. There are so many different ones. I want to collect them all. So after looking at the kiosk, I actually walked up to Balthazar, who is the owner of that kiosk. He's the one who sells the construction drawings, but he also collects ancient books. So ultimately, he sells these drawings to make money, but his passion is collecting books, and his ultimate goal is to complete his lost library. And all of the books can be found around the island, so we are tasked with finding all of those books to help him complete it. I haven't found any books at this point, but I do love a side quest, so I'm very intrigued. After meeting Balthazar and continuing my way into town, I finally noticed that there were these green sparklies in front of me, guiding me to the place that I needed to go, so that was helpful. And I hate that it took me so long to figure that out. So upon arriving at town hall, I met Herbert, who told me how unfulfilling and empty my life was. So that was nice. He also implied that my parents were probably very disappointed in all of my decision making, and the only answer is to buy a profession permit. So then I needed to make a very difficult decision. Which profession am I going to choose? There are 7 different ones to choose from, including cook, brewer, treasure hunter, blacksmith, fisherman, jewelry crafter, and archaeologist. They're also all labeled with difficulty. They each have a star rating on how difficult that profession is to master, and then the archaeologist has 3 red skulls. So that's the one I picked. After choosing my profession, I needed to go and find Arianne, who was on the hilltop overlooking the town. And I did end up making my way onto a hilltop with no signs of Arianne. But I did find a witch's shop while I was up there, and they were just selling a couple of different items, nothing fancy. And then I stumbled around town for a very long time. I kept trying to find every different way that I could go upstairs to try to make my way up to any hill that I could find, and there were just no signs of Arianne. While I was wandering around, I did come across Old Man Jeffrey, and this is the guy that I apparently bought the caravan from, which is where I'm living now. And Old Man Jeffrey isn't quite as bad as Herbert, but he does kind of tell me that there's no way that I'm the chosen one. But then he ends up giving me a clue that says, when the earth trembles and the sky whispers, 4 ancient keys shall be sought by the seeker of the truth. Followed by a second clue, near fields of plenty, the first ancient key slumbers, guarded by echoes of a forgotten past. So clearly, I need to be seeking these keys, despite the fact that no one in this town believes in me, and they definitely do not think that I'm the chosen one, but I know that I am. After our conversation, Old Man Jeffrey disappears, and behind where he was standing, there is a broken bridge that leads to a forest. And there are several different materials that I need to gather to repair that bridge. So I'm just kind of adding that to my list of things that I could potentially be working on right now. As I'm exploring the town, I did end up going back to the drawing shop, and I ended up buying the simple workbench because I did realize that it was actually 0 coins to purchase this. And I figured that I definitely am going to be needing it in the future. I also came across Lily, who was the owner of this farm in the middle of town. She had several different crops, several different animals, and her brother Ethan are the ones that I'm going to be purchasing crops from in the future. I also randomly happened across this suspicious rabbit wearing glasses. No idea what's going on here. There's also a keep out sign, and the fact that it wants me to stay out, I really want to explore what's beyond that keep out sign. So still no sign of Arianne, but I did stumble across Dr. Archie, who is staring at a temple that is locked. There's no way in, but he does tell me that if I happen upon 4 keys, then I'll be able to unlock the temple to explore it. After walking through the town for about a day, I was able to talk with a bunch of different people, but I was just shocked that I hadn't come across the one person I needed to talk to. And I ended up going back to the first place that I went, and that is where Arianne was standing. So she tells me that she wants me to craft her a Yucatali crown, basically because I'm too stupid to know anything about it, but she needs it. She does tell me that the crown is ancient, powerful, and absolutely essential. She doesn't tell me anything about why I'm doing it, but she does threaten me. if I don't complete it. So we're gonna do it. She did provide me with the recipes that I'm going to need to make this crown, but absolutely no indication as to how I need to go about it. So that is what I'm going to be trying to figure out. I made my way back to the farm where I was greeted with some new objectives. Firstly, I need to build a simple workbench. So I went ahead and did that. That was pretty easy to do. And then it wanted me to craft some of the farm torches. It tells me that the torches are going to be used when I go down in the caves to spot copper. And then I need to build an archaeologist workbench. But in order to do that, I need 5 wooden planks, 5 copper bars, and 5 glass. Which means I need to spend some time gathering resources and crafting all of these different materials before I can make the workbench. As I was gathering materials, I did come across this chest. I had to break some stones and cut down some trees to get back here, but the chest was full of a bunch of different stuff, including a rock spirit, box of nails, water spirits, cotton, nature spirits, and lost spirits, which I still don't know what any of this is going to be used for, but it feels like it's important. After collecting all the resources that I could on my main farm, I realized that I was going to have to finally go down into the caves to collect the copper that I needed to make the remaining copper bars. So I went ahead and went down into the cave, and after a very short period of time, I realized how bad of an idea it was to hit the mountain crystal rocks. I spent a little time collecting some bronze rubble as well as copper, but I also wanted to figure out how to get rid of these spiders because if I happen to stumble across one, I want to know how to fight it. I went back up to the farm, I crafted the copper bars that I needed, and I finished making the work table. But then I headed back down to the caves to do a little more exploring. I found a crystal rock again, started hitting it, and got the spider to spawn. I pulled out my whip, I hit him once, and I thought that I had him, but apparently I didn't. I tried for a third time hitting the spider multiple times with the whip, but it seems like you can only stun them. You can't actually kill them. So the screen is accurate. This was a lot of wasted time, but that's okay. Now we know that we can't get rid of the spiders, so we just shouldn't hit the purple nodes. My next task is to open the glimmering door in the farm temple, and I'm absolutely clueless as to how to do this, so I decided to go to town and explore a little bit more. While I was there, I came across Zara, who's the owner of the Pet Paradise, and she just informed me that they had some kind of flea problem and her shop is closed right now, so we can't do anything with the pets, which is unfortunate because I wanted to see them, but I'll be looking forward to it later. Back on my farm, I did a little bit more exploring down in the caves. I just wanted to gather a few more resources, and then I also wanted to test out the fishing. I caught my first fish, which was a jellyfish, and then realized that I needed more bait. So I decided to go around and try to catch some more bugs. And as I was doing that, I literally started being chased by a ghost with a tail. I didn't really know what to do, so I let the ghost hit me, and then that was a bad idea. Then I kept running around, and he happened to chase me into the temple that I needed to find. So I'm not really sure if he was there to lead me exactly where I needed to go, or if he was just trying to tell me to go to bed, but I did successfully make it into the farm temple. Now the newest objective is to pick up the broken Yucatali bracelet and complete the farm temple without dying. So I made my way through this temple, avoiding bats, avoiding flame torches, solving puzzles, and I ended up finding the first key that we need for the main temple, as well as the broken Yucatali bracelet. So we completed the temple. I made my way to the archaeologist workbench to repair the bracelet, and then I was able to sell the bracelet at one of the stores in town. I also made my way to the ancient tomb and went ahead and put my farm temple key into the tomb door. We successfully have 1 out of 4 of the keys complete. The next blueprint that I'm supposed to craft is the rubble refinery in order to refine bronze rubble. So I placed down this blueprint right next to all of my other ones. I gathered all the materials once again in order to craft the machine, finished that, and then the next thing I have to do is craft the Yucatali necklace. All I needed to make to finish the Yucatali necklace was a couple of bronze bars, so I went ahead and did that, crafted the necklace, and then I needed to build a Luma incubator. The incubator required several more resources that I needed to stock up on. I was able to get it crafted, and I didn't know what to expect with this. Obviously, it's an incubator, it's going to be some kind of egg, so I placed the egg inside, and I ended up getting a penguin Luma. And if this isn't the cutest thing you've ever seen in your entire life. So he was basically just following me around. I had to make him some food. I'm not sure if he helps me out with anything, but he's just adorable and I can't wait to find more Lumas. I think they're so cute. After crafting the food for my Luma, the entire world started shaking and our first couple of days on Luma Island came to an end. This may be one of the best demos I have ever played. I cannot stop thinking about Luma Island. Let me know if you played the demo and which profession you chose down in the comments below. I hope y'all enjoyed this video. If you did, I'd appreciate if you'd like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.